Namaskar, I am Shiv Tiwari, Chief Marketing Officer at Reliance Nippon Life Insurance Company. On the occasion of India completing its 75th year of independence, I am pleased to present the Swarnim Bharat mission. On this momentous occasion, I fall short of words to express my gratitude to the indomitable and invincible spirit of India's armed forces, who carry unflinching devotion to the call of their duty and serve the nation selflessly. I am delighted to have Lieutenant General Philip Campos with me today. Lieutenant General Campos needs no introduction. He lives an extraordinary life full of valor, heroism, sacrifice and fortitude. As the former Vice Chief of the Indian Army, General Philip Campos is a seasoned mechanized infantry officer with more than 4 decades of service. He has made immeasurable contributions and achieved unprecedented successes, all in the pursuit of nation's objectives. Lieutenant General Philip Campos superannuated as the Vice Chief of the Army Staff on the 1st of August 2015, after about 41 years of distinguished military service. General Campos's command assignments include a command of the Mechanized Infantry Battalion in the rank of a colonel, an independent armoured brigade in the deserts as a brigadier, an infantry division on the line of control in J&K as a major general, a corps in the western deserts as a lieutenant general, and the Western Army as a lieutenant general army commander. General Campos did a tenure in the United Nations peacekeeping operations. Sir, once again heartiest welcome to you, and I am truly honoured to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. And also thank you very much for the most generous introduction. I'm not so sure whether I'm worthy of all your comments and description. Thank you very much.
Sir, to start our introduction, I will ask you a question which is very close to my heart. The Indian Army has been described as one of the finest institutions in the country and amongst the best armies of the world. How would you explain this phenomena, sir?
Undoubtedly, the Indian Army has a formidable reputation. It is considered the epitome of patriotism and sacrifice. It is perennially involved in military operations to deal with current threats or in training or preparing for future threats. It is one of the most experienced armies in the world. Whenever there have been any opinion polls in the past, the people of India have always judged the Indian Army as one of India's finest institutions. This is because of its high levels of dependability, professionalism and patriotism. The Army has performed remarkably well in tough conditions against the heaviest odds in various wars and in counter-insurgency operations after independence. The Indian Army's standing is also because of its image as a shining example and an upholder of India's constitutional values like freedom, equality and pluralism. Even when the Army is employed in internal security duties, it projects a just, impartial and helpful attitude which endears it to the population. The fact that it has an apolitical ethos and is considered as the lowest in the corruption index also contributes to this highly positive image. You have only to look at the negative trends in some armies in our neighborhood and elsewhere to understand why the Indian people are so appreciative of its military and its army.
Sir, India is a land of massive opportunities. I would like to understand from your perspective and your professional understanding what the motivations are for a youngster to serve in the armed forces.
Most youngsters in India generally have a patriotic outlook by the time they finish school. This is because they become aware of our hard-fought freedom from colonial rule, as well as the threats we have faced as a country and a people after our country's independence. Secondly, at the time they are examining career options after school or after college education, The military figures in the list of priorities in many cases because of the sense of job satisfaction and job security that it offers. Youngsters in various parts of the country, especially those who have family members in the armed forces, become aware of the proud heritage, the sense of duty, and the high social standing of the military, and these are factors which motivate them to join. They also become aware of the hardships and the risks involved, but are willing to overlook these risks because of their perception of the overall advantages on offer.
Thank you, sir. This is so inspiring. I'm sure a lot of youngsters viewing our conversation will draw inspiration and want to join the forces. Sir, from your 4 decades plus of experience, we would like to know your journey of courage, sacrifice, and patriotism.
My case is unique in that I do not have any kith or kin in the armed forces before I joined or in the years thereafter. To that extent, mine is a typical case of self-motivation. I was a young child in school when the 1962 war against China took place, and thereafter when the 1965 war with Pakistan took place. I remember I was enamored by all the war documentaries and movies of that time. Thus, following a chance encounter with a friend who was on vacation from training at the National Defence Academy during my last year of school, I applied and was selected. What followed were 45 years in uniform, the first 4 in the most rigorous training and thereafter in a challenging but satisfying career. The first 2 years of my service life were spent in counter-insurgency operations in one of our northeastern states. It was a tough life, chasing insurgents in the jungles along the borders with Myanmar and Bangladesh. In one case, it was a big band of well-armed insurgents who were returning after year-long training and motivation in China. I used to live with my troops and move along the jungle trails with them. Our rations used to be dropped from the air. It was a tough life, but it succeeded in toughening me up for what lay ahead. My next field tenure was along the line of control, the LOC in Kashmir, a few years later. There were tough times later when I faced the rigors of high altitude terrain and climate with my troops deployed in posts around 16,000 feet in North Sikkim. Avalanches and snowslides were a regular occurrence. But we were never intimidated by these tough conditions. Even when I was posted in former Yugoslavia during their civil war and in Iraq in their interwar period, hostile mortar and rifle fire was a regular occurrence. We took it in our stride and braved it all. Especially as officers and leaders, we had to appear strong always, whatever the challenging circumstances. It was also tough staying away from the family. On occasions, this isolation was self-imposed in the interests of better and stable education for our children. But when I look back, I can think only of the good times and the job satisfaction I achieved in terms of enhancing the security of our citizens.
Thank you, sir. Your career journey is very inspiring, and I wish I also have a career journey like yours. Sir, all of us get excited by the life of a soldier, largely coming out of the movies that we watch about the valor of the Indian Army. But hearing from you, I would like to understand, what does a day in the life of an army personnel look like?
The job of a soldier, and I use this term soldier in generic terms, to also include its officers. The job is most unique in that it includes sacrificing your life as an unwritten part of the job description. Laying your life on the line is part of a soldier's everyday routine. It is said, ना कोई पत्थर ना लोहा है, ना शोला है, सभी का सम्मिलित प्रारूप भारत का सिपाही है, जो आपके लिए जीवन भर का असाधारण रोमांच है, वो सिपाही के लिए रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी है। To get back to your question, a day in the life of a soldier, even in peacetime, would be a totally different experience depending on whether you were serving in an operational area, a field area, or in a peace area. In an operational area, troops mostly operate at night and rest during the day. Many a time, the soldier keeps his weapon by his side and spends time within his day routine only for personal administration and to clean his weapon at least once. In field areas, troops train during the day and would undertake tasks like patrolling and observation post duties both during the day and night. In peacetime, it is mostly training during day with games in the afternoon. Night training are normally weekly affairs. In peace stations, the added advantage is that you can keep your family with you and enjoy family time to the extent possible. The daily routine in the barracks starts at about 5 a.m. in the morning and finishes by about 9:30 p.m. Opportunities are also provided for personal time and for recreation.
Sir, while the life in the forces is often talked about as one of rigor and discipline, it is also one of great experiences and fun. Can you share with us some illustrative examples that will help us appreciate this side of life also?
Yes, discipline and good order is a part of military life wherever you may be posted. That is one of the greatest strengths of a soldier, which he tends to carry with him into his retired life. All ranks are expected to maintain high standards of discipline and personal behavior. Both seniors and juniors are meant to be respected in their own appropriate way. A soldier learns to be punctual and smartly dressed at all times. But there is also some fun in the midst of all this. Soldiers have a sense of humor and can inject some fun and banter in the toughest times. Time is provided for recreation wherever a soldier may be posted, which can be spent in the unit with friends and family, or the soldier can go to the local town or to the city. Latest movies are shown at least once a week. Recreational visits are organized to nearby places. Badakhanas and melas are organized occasionally for fun and games. And most important, he is provided adequate leave to spend quality time with his family and when possible to attend important family events.
Through your illustrious career, you would have led several acts of great valor and sacrifices, both at war or otherwise. We would like to hear some of your inspiring experiences.
It is an oft repeated truism that the true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. भारतीय सैनिक इसलिए नहीं लड़ता क्योंकि उसे सामने वालों से नफरत है, बल्कि इसलिए क्योंकि वो अपने पीछे वालों से प्यार करता है. He guards the frontiers 24/7 so that his fellow countrymen can sleep peacefully in their homes. शांति से आप अपने घर में सो सकते हैं, ये जानते हुए कि भारतीय सेना सीमा पर तैनात है. It is in that spirit that an Indian soldier once said, मुझे इस बात का अफसोस है कि मुझे देश पर जान देने के लिए सिर्फ एक ही जान है. I regret I have but one life to give to my country. It is also in that spirit that Captain Vikram Batra said during the Kargil war, either I will come back after hoisting the tricolor or I will come back wrapped in it. But I will be back for sure. Yes, I came across many acts of great valor and sacrifice during my career. While we were still undergoing pre-commission training at the academy, we heard about the outstanding act of valor and sacrifice of Second Lieutenant Arun Khetarpal of the Pune Horse at Basantar during the India-Pakistan War of 1971. During the counter-insurgency operations in Nagaland, it was the exemplary gallantry of officers and soldiers like Colonel Jayachandran Nair, my senior and good friend from Staff College, who laid down his life fighting insurgents who had ambushed his convoy. At Siachen Glacier, it was the exploits of Naib Subedar Bana Singh who captured the so-called Qaid post along with his team. In the Kargil War, one heard about the daredevil exploits of martyrs like Captain Vikram Batra, Captain Manoj Pandey, Major Rajesh Adhikari, and many more. There is a quote attributed to Captain Manoj Pandey where he said, "If death strikes before I prove my blood, I promise I will kill death." There were others like Grenadier Yogendra Yadav and Sepoy Sanjay Kumar who were grievously wounded but survived to tell the tale. The do-or-die approach by many such brave men, most of whom who did not survive, is what has kept our country secure in the last 75 years and keeps inspiring more and more people to don the olive green uniform.
This is truly inspiring, sir. Sir, we know of servicemen as physically strong beings. However, from our experiences, we know them as mentally stronger. So, can you help us understand what really makes them mentally stronger beings so that they are able to thrive in some of the most trying and difficult situations on the earth?
Mental agility is an important trait required in an army soldier. We do expect army men to be physically fit and strong, but their proud achievements and acts of exemplary valor are not only about physical strength. As you said, many of these are about mental agility and effectiveness in the face of extreme adversity. When a soldier or commander gets blocked or obstructed in the achievement of the task assigned to him, he quickly looks for alternate ways of completing his task successfully. A good commander or soldier does not give up easily. He does not rest until his mission is completed successfully. Take the case of the Kargil War. We celebrated the 24th anniversary of our victory recently. You would be aware that in April 1999, Pakistani troops surreptitiously occupied our winter vacated post in the snow-capped mountains in the Kargil area in the Ladakh sector. Once we discovered these intrusions in May 1999, the Indian Army launched attacks to evict these intruders. Some of these attacks did not succeed due to uphill terrain challenges and the fact that the intruders were very well armed. The heavy machine gun fire from these positions resulted in many casualties to our troops and they had to fall back. The commanders then displayed the highest levels of mental agility while reviewing their plans and making the required changes. Attacks were launched by night from multiple directions. Artillery and air support were provided. Wherever the troops were forced to halt due to heavy volume of fire by the enemy, they changed their plans and persevered on. Consequently, all the positions, even the highest ones like Tiger Hill, Tololing and Khalubar Top, were all recaptured even after suffering serious casualties.
Sir, I'm sure what you told about the military personnel is equally applicable to civilians. My question to you is, how can we train civilians in the circumstances that we get trained to be mentally agile so that they are as effective in adversity as they are otherwise?
Civilians can also be trained and motivated to not stop just because they find impediments or obstructions while executing their plans. Plans should be changed if they are found to be faulty. A culture of hard work should be inculcated among the workers. They should be assigned achievable targets and incentivized to achieve these and more in a realistic time frame. Overachievers should be rewarded by special recognition and promotions. They should be encouraged to inform their seniors about problems they encounter and seek guidance towards their resolution.
Your words of wisdom are really invaluable, sir. I'm sure we will be able to integrate some of your guidance into our training programs. Sir, apart from the sacrifices that our soldiers make, their families make equal sacrifice, if not more. What I would like to understand is how the Army extends support to the families of their employees or their soldiers during times of personal crisis or when the call of duty reigns over personal priorities.
The Army always makes a serious effort to send personnel on leave in case of family emergencies. However, in case a soldier is busy with his military duties and is unable to be sent on leave at such a time, his unit provides assistance by sending one of his colleagues from the area or by corresponding with the local authorities or with nearby Army units.
Sir, this is an excellent support that our defense forces provide to their families. Sir, we also know that soldiers do retire, they become veterans. Now, I would like to understand how an Army veteran can contribute to a private company after he superannuates from the forces.
The primary attributes of an Army veteran are diligence, efficiency, discipline, loyalty, empathy, and timeliness. Other than these common factors, veterans come with different types of qualifications and experiences depending on the arm or service that they served in the military. Some of them have served in technological or technical jobs, others in civil or mechanical engineering, some in managerial positions, and some in security related functions. Senior level veterans have visionary or strategic thinking skills. Those at the middle level bring managerial and man management experience, and those at the junior level are diligent workers who produce good and timely outcomes. Thus, Army veterans are well capable of switching to jobs in private companies once they are out of service.
This is quite insightful, sir. Sir, the defense forces are not-for-profit institutions. When a veteran joins a for-profit institution, how do you think he or she should go about acclimatizing to the new environment?
Ideally, before making an Army veteran take on responsibilities in the private sector, he should be put through some management or training capsules to orient him to the peculiarities of working in a corporate environment. He must understand that corporates have to achieve work outcomes and related profits to keep the company going. The Army has been arranging such orientation and training for its veterans in the last years prior to their retirement by enrolling them in various institutions, even IIMs and other management institutions for the officers, as also appropriate supervisory skill sets for the enlisted personnel.
Sir, I have taken a lot of your precious time. One last question for you. Is there a message that you would like to pass on to the youth of this nation, sir?
The youth of the nation have a lot of reasons to be proud of. They are citizens of a great country which has wonderful constitutional values and excellent traditions, which serve as the backdrop for wonderful opportunities that crop up in their lives. Freedom, democracy, non-violence, equality are all values that flow naturally around us in our living and working environment. Anyone who is honest and hardworking has a good chance of achieving success and making a positive mark, whatever career he or she may choose. If every young man and woman decides that his or her family must rise at least one up in the strata of life in this generation, the whole country would stand to gain. Providing quality education holds the key. Not only will we be able to improve the quality of our lives, but we will be contributing to nation building in a positive way. And we must stay on the path of truth and honesty. And we must abide by the law, even if it is in terms of small things like not violating traffic rules when we are driving. We must respect our fellow citizens and must always be sensitive to their interests. Corruption can destroy a country from within. In our own little ways, we must contribute to weeding out corruption from our society. Joining the military or other forms of public service is a good way of showing our patriotism. And finally, all of us should be susceptible to change. That is the only way we will progress in life as a people and as a country. Undoubtedly, the hopes, prayers and best wishes of us elders are always with the youth of this country.
नाम, नमक और निशान है सेनानियों के मुख्य सिद्धांत। शौर्य, साहस, त्याग, पराक्रम और बलिदान है भारतीय सेना के वीरों की पहचान। है हम सब नागरिकों को गर्व आप सब पर, हम करते हैं सभी जवानों को शत शत नमन, शत शत प्रणाम। Thank you very much for joining us today, sir, and I look forward to our continued engagement, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.